Welcome back, Minties to Near Mint Condition, a channel where you can be part of a positive community and lay claim to some comic book knowledge. I'm your host, the Astonishing Melanie, and today I will be reviewing Zdarsky's Daredevil to Heaven Through Hell, so please stay tuned. I know you Minties are excited from the poll I posted a few days ago. Rest assured that my reviews are spoiler-free and spoilers. They're divided up into sections. Timestamps below so that you can hit that if you want to skip some spoilers. Thank you to the fine folks at Marvel and David Gabriel for sending us this advance review copy. The book comes out March 30th, and it collects issues 1 through 10 by Zdarsky, with art by Marco Checchetto and Lalit Kumar Sharma. Spoiler-free statement: this is a piece of literature and it should be taught in high school English. Seriously, you could teach students the concepts of theme, conflict, character development, and an engrossing story. It's engaging. Please teach this if you're a teacher. Because before Zdarsky treats us with Daredevil's badassness, he explores the theme of morality and what to do with our talents. This is why I love literature. Authors writing to explore the human condition and not necessarily trying to solve an issue, because sometimes there isn't anything to solve. I miss teaching English class and leading students to do this for themselves. Let's jump into the story. Matt Murdock is back to being Daredevil after spending a stint in the hospital because he was hit by a truck. We're introduced to a new character, Detective Cole North, who is determined to arrest the vigilante of Hell's Kitchen. These scenes are interspersed with flashbacks of Matt's past discussions with his Catholic priest, who serves as a terrific mentor as they discuss justice and concerning bullies and Matt's loss of vision. Even though he has doubts, Matt is determined to continue fighting crime. Checchetto's artwork is easy to follow during the fight scenes, which I appreciate because a lot of times I get lost in the art of a fight. You can also see how he portrays Daredevil's radar sense. I wonder if Checchetto freehanded that or drew a sketch of the picture before outlining. Even though Matt is back in the game, he isn't physically and mentally recovered fully, and because he's not in control of his strength, he accidentally kills a thief that he's trying to stop, and he doesn't realize it. Of course, once he discovers the thief died, he spirals into despair, and he's seeking guidance and solace from a nun and his priest. Seriously, he is torn in this story, but he's never alone. Whether it be his friends, comrades, or those against him, he's constantly debating with them the right way to help people. And when Wilson Fisk, who is the mayor of New York City, hears of these developments, he has an interesting reaction. Finally, Zdarsky is on point in issue 5 with his depiction of Matt quickly spiraling during a conversation with his friends. And with Checchetto's art, man, I tear up just looking at Matt's face. Spoilers time! Please hit the timestamp below if you would like to skip to my overall rating and conclusion. DD thinks someone killed the thief on his way to the hospital, so he tries to solve the mystery, but comes to the conclusion he was the one who actually did the deed. When he confronts the doctor who declared the criminal's death, the professional makes an interesting point. With Matt's abilities, he should have been a doctor, serving as an imaginary foil character that uses his powers to help people through healing instead of violence. Detective Cole arrests the hero, thereby making himself the enemy of many of the other police officers. In terms of how the two of them approach fighting crime, North and Daredevil are definitely foils that highlight the differences in approaches. But just as the Devil's down on the ground in cuffs, the Punisher rescues him because he thinks Matt is starting to agree with him on the philosophy of killing criminals. Not only do they have an interesting debate, but in the end, DD turns badass while fighting Frank. Matt dons one of Punisher's shirts without realizing what's on it and jumps back into action fighting crime, so the next scenes have some symbolism in terms of his inner conflict with how to fight criminals. Oh, I'm brandishing Punisher's symbol. Wait, I want to not kill people. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Danny Rand come to his aid and ask him to take a break. Oh man, and when Spider-Man shows up, so cool. Matt says he's pure power and doesn't even know it. The best of us. I had a crush on Spider-Man. It maybe still do. Spidey doesn't advise him to take a break though. He says Daredevil is done. And that juxtaposition of Father Cathal's words next to Spidey looking at Matt is very nice. Wonderful use of colors by Sunny Go. Is it Sunny Go? The dark doesn't overpower the panels, but instead encases the characters. Matt indeed stops prowling the city and works as a probation officer. It shows that he can do good through that as well, just like we all have roles in our lives, the different ways we can help each other. Feeling betrayed by Detective North's earlier actions, some police officers beat him, like bad. And he reports the whole truth afterwards, feeling isolated as much as Matt. In fact, both characters experiencing isolation as a theme is presented in the first and last pages of issue 7. There are close-ups of both characters with blank expressions and the last panel zooming out. While searching for a birthday present for Foggy, Matt flirts with a woman whose husband owns a bookstore, and she invites him to their family dinner. Guess who's hosting it? The Labrise crime family, a notorious gang who cooperates with Fisk. I love the panel where Matt realizes what's going on. He's isolated at the head of the table, enclosed by the family of his enemies. And boy howdy, do they have an interesting, riveting conversation to say the least. And oh yeah, Elektra shows up. Score time. I rate this a 10 out of 10. As I mentioned in the beginning, this story has a philosophical element, so if you are experiencing an internal conflict with morality, pick up this book. Even if you're not, pick up this book. The greatest thing I took away from this story is Zdarsky's approach to the people of the cloth, offering understanding, being a proponent of God's love, and admitting humbly to not know the answers to everything. Thank you so much for watching. Comment below if you've read this run, if you're planning to pick it up, or what interests you the most about this story. Please consider subscribing for more reviews and overviews, and join us on Patreon and social media if you'd like to be a bigger part of the team. And as always, stay minty!